What's up, everyone? We have an amazing video today. We have some gigantic news on how Elon Musk might own Twitter within the next couple of days, so definitely stick with us for that. But in this video, we're also going to be changing some things up a little bit and covering a lot of great setups right now because there's just a lot of opportunities. So stick with us today, guys. We have a great video. But Tom, the market is blasting up. Stocks are popping. What are you seeing in this market?
Yeah, Mike, it's an insane day. Like you said, stocks were popping up, and we saw a lot of momentum to the upside from the SPY, the QQQ, Apple, and tons of stocks like that. And I kind of wanted to go over a few amazing setups that I'm seeing maybe for tomorrow or even over the next couple days. And with the first one, I want to talk about DraftKings, Mike. It's really nice to see these growth stocks coming up off of lows recently. If we look on this 5-minute chart, DraftKings has a really good double bottom going on around 1460 down here. And then they've also been popping back up above 1550 and then $16, which has been a pretty good recent resistance. And as far as DraftKings goes, I'm going to really be watching them very hard tomorrow for them to pass above $17, Mike. They closed pretty strong today, up around their highs. And if they do end up breaking above $17, I think they could have a pretty good move. And then another stock I wanted to talk about was Apple. And keep in mind, the stocks I'm talking about are going to be more shorter term plays here. Apple had a nice double top today, heading into market close right around 146, and we actually started breaking that right as close happened. So if we could pop up tomorrow up above 146.40 early in the morning, I'll really be watching Apple for a nice breakout. They've been on a huge downtrend over the past couple months, Mike, just like the stock market, and it will be very nice to see them possibly fill this gap back up to around 148 or 150. So I will be watching that for a possible breakout. And then Boeing is another big stock that I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on right now. When you look at their daily chart, they're down around those lows again, down around $120. And I feel like it's a really big support, and they're starting to bounce back up with the rest of the market. Plus, we're starting to see other airlines like American and even cruise lines starting to pop up too. So I will be watching Boeing for a very nice breakout up above that 134 resistance tomorrow. I feel like there's a lot of potential plays here to the upside, and I feel like we need to start taking advantage of those in the short term.
No doubt. So let's shift over to the SPY on a daily chart just to look at something really quickly. As Tom and I have been saying over like the past couple days and arguably over like the past week or two, the SPY has been really overextended to the downside, and we're starting to see that pop up, which is exactly what we've been saying. Now, with that being said, the stock market is still relatively close to its low of the entire year, and there's a lot of stocks that are still at low levels. Check out the heat map really quickly. It was just a sea of green today. So many stocks popped up, and they popped up in big ways, and the opportunity is not gone yet. So keep that in mind in terms of short-term trades, day trades, and even long-term stocks to buy and hold.
Yeah, exactly. And this heat map, Mike, is beautiful. Like you said, a lot of these stocks are still around lows. I know a lot of bank stocks were starting to move off of those recent lows here. And when you still, like you said, when you still look at the market, it still looks pretty close to the lows. So I think we still could see more upwards momentum. And whenever I eye up the SPY, Mike, look at that daily chart and look at that candle here today. That was a very nice close, making that nice green hammer is what a lot of people would like to call that. So it's really cool to see these nice candles and these nice setups coming into the market. Sometimes you do see multiple days of movement whenever you see nice closes like this up around highs. So hopefully we continue to see that happen over the next few days. And, you know, I think a lot of those stocks I talked about, Mike, like Apple, could end up doing pretty good, especially given they're having like a nice triple top here.
True. Now it's my turn, Tom. So my favorite setups for like the next couple days or so, it's not necessarily for tomorrow, but they're definitely short term, right? We're talking about the next couple days. The first one's Meta. I love this company for the long term, but that's a topic for a different video. But anyways, Meta is still very, very close to its low of the entire year. And Meta has done nothing but just fall off a cliff this year, yet they're still a powerhouse company and they are not going anywhere. But the main point in terms of looking at the trade is that they're still a quality name, but they're still very, very overextended to the downside, and they have a very long history of great moves for the short term. They tend to move with a lot of momentum, which is perfect for short term trades. But at the same time, let's say you look at a different stock, like let's say, I don't know, RCL, Tom. This is a cruise line. It was up 16, almost 17% today. You know, it's awesome. It has a lot of momentum, but it's like, it's hard to justify getting in a trade like that when it's up 17% in one day. For me, Meta, it's overextended to the downside. It's at a good level, but it's not to the point where it's overextended to the upside just yet. So that's why I'm keeping a close eye on Meta to the upside for the next couple days. I think it has a lot of potential for many reasons. So keep it on your watch list. Tom, looking at Meta, you're more of the technical guy. What are you seeing in terms of like major levels?
Yeah, there was actually a really nice like triple bottom intraday today, right around 139.40 or 139.45. I honestly think that's a pretty good support level here. Even a couple weeks ago, we were seeing more bounces right there. And even yesterday, Mike, we had a nice, that was kind of like right around the high of day. So that looks like a really nice support to maybe play off of tomorrow. And there is a bit of intraday resistance right around 141. So maybe we could break that and start to head up to around 142 and then even 144 after that if we see a really good breakout, which I think we possibly could, especially given all the great setups in the market right now, whether it's Meta or Apple or any of the big names. A lot of them are setting up to be pretty bullish, I think.
Yep. All right, so the next favorite setup for me is GLD. This one is like a silent assassin. With inflation as high as it's been over the past year, you would think for gold and silver to do a lot better than they've actually done, but they've been very mediocre over the past year. For those of you who don't know, GLD represents gold. It's a gold ETF, I should say. But anyways, what I like about this setup is that it is a powerhouse. It's not overextended by any means, and it moves in a very good way, but different than what you might think. You know, if you look back at that cruise line example, Tom, with RCL, Royal Caribbean, that stock is up 17% today. You will never see GLD up 17% in one day. But what you might see with GLD is it up 17% over the course of a couple weeks, and that uptrend will be very, very powerful. You know, like we saw in the beginning of this year, actually. So I'm really keeping a close eye on GLD. What I really like about this setup now is that it's low right now, which is good. It has momentum, but the dollar is starting to fall. And when the dollar falls, it's actually really good for gold and silver. So it's a close eye, close watch on my radar. I think GLD definitely has potential.
Yeah, I actually like it a lot too, Mike. I'm really glad you brought up the dollar because that going down is really going to help GLD start to rise. And I think that we're definitely due for a bit of a drop on that dollar. If we look at like a long-term chart of that dollar over the past few months, you can see there's been a couple small downtrends here and there, but we're starting to see some real momentum now. So that'll really help GLD.
Yep. And with the last one, we have Intel. So Intel stock has also just gotten destroyed this year in a major way, right? And they're still a powerhouse company. You know, they don't move like the average Tesla or, you know, Google or Amazon. They move in a little bit more of a slow way, but that's okay. There's still opportunity with it. So with Intel, they are very overextended to the downside. They basically just fell off a cliff, but they still move in a good way. What I really like about this one is it has a very long history of bouncing off support in a really nice way, not only just on like the long-term chart, but even like over like the past year or so. I cherry picked two examples, Tom, but if we look at like a recent example on like March 15th of 2022, it bounced off a key support level and it just popped, right around March 15th, right? I know that's that's a perfect example, but there are many times like this in Intel's history, right? And I feel like we're back at a major support level with Intel, and what I really like about it is that Intel options are relatively cheap, unlike some of these other big tech stocks like Tesla or just any of the other like more popular ones, depending on the market. Intel, it's a slower moving company, but the options are fairly priced in my opinion. So it's one of the top stocks on my watch list to the upside.
Yeah, and I don't blame you, Mike. And like you said, some of those support bounces can be really key for Intel. We've seen it happen quite a few times, especially in 2018 to 2020. We bounced off of like $43 or $45 6 to 8 times. It was insane to see that. and we're bouncing off that support right now all the way back from August of 2015. So that's a pretty big level, Mike. Hopefully we continue to see a nice little uptrend here, and maybe we'll come back up and retest $30 this week or sometime soon.
True that. All right, Tom. So now on to the big news from today with Elon Musk and Twitter. What is going on?
Yeah, it's insane. So as we've known over the past few months and even over the past year almost, Elon Musk has been talking about buying Twitter for a while now at $54.20 a share. Then he actually backed off of the deal, but now he's actually coming back in and agreed to buy them for the price according to a filing on Tuesday. So apparently he might get this company for $54.20 a share if everything goes through. They were expected to go to court over the next week or so, and it looks like Elon Musk is trying to avoid going to court over this. So it's a pretty big thing, Mike. It made Twitter shares jump up and Tesla shares actually tank down. So looking at Tesla, that was a pretty bad drop today, and we've been seeing pretty bad drops over the past few days with those bad deliveries and everything like that going on. But for Twitter, it had insane jumps, closed up 22%, and we saw some insane halts in the middle of the day, Mike. Those halts lasted for a long time on Twitter. I could not believe how long they lasted for, but nonetheless, he might buy this for $54.20. And Mike, the most interesting thing I saw is that he could possibly own this within a matter of days. So that's actually, I think, the biggest piece of news here.
Yeah, this is crazy. And Tom, if I'm being completely honest, I'm very salty with Twitter stock right now. So, I'm watching the market intraday, and out of nowhere, the stock just booms up. Twitter's just going crazy. I'm like, all right, what happened? What happened? And, we see the news with Elon, and the first halt goes by, and I'm like researching, and then the second halt, right before it went by, the stock was between like $48 and $50. I'm like, okay, Elon Musk is set to buy this company for $54.20 a share. I want to buy in now. I'm like, I want to do the merger arbitrage, right? I want to buy in, and then Elon can buy from a higher price from me. I had a buy order set at $48 a share. It never filled, right? And then it halted for hours, and I'm like, please fill, please fill, please fill. and then towards close, it gaps up again after the halt at like 52. I'm like, dang, like that was such a great opportunity, and I missed it. But anyways, it's not too late if you want to buy Twitter shares. It's just the opportunity is nowhere near as good as it was earlier today. If you are to buy Twitter stock right now for, let's say, $52 a share, Elon Musk, if the deal goes through, will pay you $54.20 a share. So it's like you can make around 4% or so. It's not bad, but it's like, it's only a 4% return at this point.
Yeah, and then whenever you factor in taxes and even other stuff, it ends up becoming even less. But Mike, I wish you would have got it at 48. I wish you would have filled. That would have been amazing to see that tonight on the video if you would have got some shares there. But wow, what a crazy day for Twitter. I could not believe that the news even dropped that Elon was going to be buying it. I would have guessed he was going back to trial. But hey, Mike, I guess everybody who was trying to play that arbitrage, if they ended up holding out through all that insane news over the past couple months, would have ended up doing pretty well. So looks like he is buying it after all, and I can't wait to see what happens. And like it said here, Mike, he might get it over the next couple days. So we'll have to see what happens. That might not happen. Keep in mind, it says that CNBC learned that he could own it over the next couple days, but we'll have to see, Mike. It's going to be extremely interesting, and I expect more volatility to come, honestly, into Tesla rather than Twitter, because as we know, Twitter will probably start to slow down around 54.20, right?
Yeah, right around there. Realistically, it'll probably pop up to like $54, maybe $54.10, depending on what the market is pricing in, and it'll just linger right around that until the deal goes through. And as we get closer to the deal, it'll get closer and closer to $54.20. So, you can buy it, but it's like at this point, the return's not going to be that great. But Tom, let's get right into the trades of the day from the StockedUp Discord. There were a bunch of great moves all throughout the day. Our bot called out SLV 19 strike calls at $51 today. They popped all the way up to 66 for around a 30% return in just a couple hours. That was awesome. And Tom, you were going crazy today in the Discord. Fill us in.
Yeah, the bonus setups were going crazy. We have a premium play going on JP Morgan, which ended up popping up a ton today as those bank stocks flew up. But QQQ I called out in the bonus setups channel. That play exploded. It would have went up actually 35% at a bad entry. With a good entry, you would be looking at something closer to 45%. So I had the QQQ moving out of this range here. If we go look at the QQQ on the chart, and then I go to a nice 5-minute level here, you can see how in the middle of the day, it ended up tanking right down out of that channel. And that's pretty much exactly what we had set up. So the bonus setups were on fire. A lot of the premium plays popped off today. That hybrid play was awesome with SLV. So great to see, Mike. You know, it's awesome to see the market going back on an uptrend, and it's time to take advantage.
Yeah, so if you guys are into short-term trading, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. We have a bunch of amazing custom bots you won't find anywhere else that gives daily options alerts. It's awesome. Tom also posts a bunch of great plays. I post plays, and it's an awesome community, especially if you're looking for some short-term options trades. It's awesome, and check it out. You can cancel it anytime, no problem about that. But Tom, before we move on, it is now time for the member of the day. Today's member of the day is Cornish. Huge shout out to Cornish in the StockedUp Discord and in the YouTube comments. He is one of the best members in the chat. He's been in the chat for over 2 years now. He's a great person, and it's awesome to have you in the chat. So huge shout out to Cornish. I was laughing at the profile picture of Powell, but it's awesome to have you in the chat. And Tom, it's now time for the momentum plays. With the first one, we have LVS to the upside.
Yeah, Las Vegas Sands. Go ahead and make them break out above $42.10 tomorrow morning.
All right, with the next one, we have Shopify to the upside.
Yeah, nice. Go ahead and make them break out above 31.89, or just say 31.90.
Perfect. Then with the last one, we have Zoom, also to the upside.
Zoom, nice. Yeah, all three plays up with this hot market. Make them break out above 78.50.
Perfect. So we're watching Zoom, Shopify, and LVS for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. Besides that, definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below for some short-term options plays. They're awesome, and you can cancel it anytime if you don't like it, but daily plays, and the bot does a great job. So definitely check it out. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe, and we are trying out a new style, new segment in the video, so definitely let us know your feedback on that in the comments down below. Besides that, let's have an amazing week.